What's up, everybody? Welcome to the NDA Podcast. I am Rob, the aka Sketchcraft, and I am working late at night, so I thought I would stream, because I would stream when I'm working late at night. Boom! This is where I work on stuff I cannot share, but when I'm working on things I can't share, behind me is going to play, well, there, right there. It's going to play a video of something I've done in the past. This is the traditional line art to my first issue, Spawn Kills Every Spawn, available at all comic book shops if it's not already sold out now. My shop was sold out, so it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But you can grab one, share it, give it to your friends. We got more coming. Second issue hits August 28th. I'm gonna get to working on stuff I can't talk about. Let me go ahead and just turn up the chat room. If you have any questions, feel free to ask or leave them in the comments. I will try to speak and keep you all entertained while I draw. No promises. I get a little busy. But if you're in there chatting, I will respond back and chat with you. No trouble. Let me just do a little check and make sure we're on YouTube. Last time I streamed, it's like a green screen on YouTube. Like, it was like all weirded out. Like, weird. So I see the thumbnails up and I'm there. I'm working. Great. And I'm there on YouTube, so we're good there too. Alrighty. Okay. This over. Chat open. I got my fan on me, so I might cough every now and then because the wind just like that right there. Sometimes it just, I clean it, but you know, it is what it is. All right. I invited Brandon to come on, but he's not answering his phone. That's not going to happen tonight. I'm going to be streaming for a few hours. See if I can go through the rundown of things on my mind. Try and talk while I'm working here. On my mind. What's going on? Oh, it's political season, so if you know my political affiliation, it's left of left, I suppose at this point. So if you don't believe in things like for Medicare for all and you want to complain about it to me in my DMs, I'll just block you. That's how that works. I had a few people just send me texts. You know, man, blah, 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 blah. All right, man. I just block. Don't care. I supported you, but I then don't care. Don't care. You don't have to listen to it anymore, because you're gone. This childish. Blocked. I've always treated social media that way, folks. Always treated that way. I let people in to hang out with me. If you don't like hanging out with me, then we done. We done, son. You know, let's get off my back. What else is going on? Oh yeah, they canceled Acolyte. Well, you know, I could ultimately care less because I wasn't ever gonna watch any more of it. But more to the point, I'm just not up for Hallmark movies pretending to be Star Wars. Star Wars pretending to be Hallmark, however you want to phrase that. It includes Mandalorian and anything else they do. I'm not into it. So, if Star Wars wants to grow up, I'll be there. Like Andor Season 2, looking forward to it. But they want to keep making childish Star Wars, and go right on ahead, spend billions of dollars. I could care less. It's not going. I mean, I don't cancel it. Make 10 more seasons of it. See where it goes. Put it in the theaters. I want to see what it does. I'm very curious. But they did. So I feel bad for crew who was looking forward to work, but that's what's why it's incumbent upon people in positions of power to you know create things that don't get canceled right away. I mean, everything gets canceled eventually, right? I mean, none of it lasts forever. Such is life, and that's how I feel about anything. Like, I've come in and out of fandoms before. I love the Turtles. Like, I really love the Turtles. I've only liked one Turtles movie. Kind of like that's the first one. The 2007 CGI one has its moments. I even managed to make my own fan edit years ago, like back in 2008, 2009, 10, somewhere around, probably 10, around there. But it is filled with things like Pokemon stuff, like monsters that you gotta collect. And not interested in that. I'm interested in the brothers, ninjas. I'm not interested in. The Casey Jones story would have been interesting. They didn't really go anywhere, but it's all right. It's probably my second favorite. The new Mutant Mayhem. I really like the guys who do the voices for the brothers, the kids. I think they're fantastic. But I'm not up for like no ninjas. Not up for that. I mean, they're Ninja Turtles, and when they're not ninjas, then it's not Ninja Turtles. That's me. And learning ninjutsu by watching Jackie Chan movies I don't understand that. I always feel like it always feels like corporate trying to find a way to make the turtles less violent. And I'm like, they're ninjas. It's part of it. It's like try to find a way to make Street Fighter, but they don't actually do any street fights. No fighting. And they did that once. They made a stupid cartoon where like they were like GI Joes. But rather than guns, they ran around the globe trying to stop an evil organization. That's not Street Fighter, man. Like, it's something else. Make something else, but don't call that shit Street Fighter. So, someone was telling me, but man, it was being inclusive. The Acolyte, and I'm like, so is Andor. It's got a gay relationship in there, but it doesn't require. But it's got a great story too. Like, I don't care about inclusivity if it's if it's as hollow as. I'll be honest, man. Like the writing on some TGIF is better than half the Star Wars these days, and I hold very little nostalgia for ABC TV. But again, like I said, it just dawned on me, like into words, a few months ago. I was able to go, oh, they're just making Hallmark movies now, you know. And I have a friend who's kind of close to production who's had lunch with Filoni in the past. This is before, the sequel movies came out really, and they were like, yeah, something like he was trying to put. Filoni was saying he wanted to put the heart back in Star Wars to him. You want to put the heart, and I'm like, maybe you've gone too far with the heart because it's real. It feels forced now. It doesn't feel like real heart. You know. Maybe stop focusing on the heart. Maybe go buy some of those historical books, like historical fiction. Like they could have bought Shogun. They could have bought the book rights to Shogun and done a version of that as Star Wars. Why don't we get away from George Lucas making the Jedi boring? Just get away from it. You know, they can have families and kids and make them interesting because they're just robbing any character in that universe of a human. Now Brandon wants to call me. Hey Brandon, I'm streaming. Sorry, I thought you said you quit that job. Oh, this month is the last month. All right, well, all right. Mm-hmm. This is it. This month. You guys hear that? He says this month. This is it. All right. You guys write it down. All right. Well, we'll see. The chat has put it into. They've written it down, right, guys? Right. Hey, you're welcome. You gonna be able to make it on tonight or not tonight? Not tonight. All right. Okay. During the day I can. All right. Bye. As he has Brandon. Brandon says he's quitting his second job sometime this month. And then he'll be able to come on every night. Do we believe that? I don't think we do. But we bookmarked it. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. They should buy historical fiction and then convert it to Star Wars stories because they're obviously not very. I mean, Tony Gilroy aside, they're just not very good at figuring out what to write anymore. And I just think they need wars. They need wars in the Star Wars. You know, if I were up to me, I've said this for years and years. First thing I'd do is I'd make that rule of two and all that Jedi don't do shit. Something that kind of like started like right before Yoda shows up, you know, or right after, whatever. There was something, and then, you know, we can get over it. We can get past it because the shit's just not. You can't compete with House of Dragon and Game of Thrones and Succession and even Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. They can't seem to compete when they can't have human relationships, man. I mean, even people on the Starship Enterprise, Spock is having more human emotional relationships than any one of these Star Wars shows outside of Andor. Like that is just wild to me. But that's where we're at. But like, but it's for kids. Stop making it for kids. If you make it cool, kids will show up and watch it. There were kids in the damn Deadpool theater, man. You know, there were kids in Avatar that made 2.5 billion. Kids were in the theater watching it. Plenty of kids. Stop with this. Kids is a giant excuse for writing Hallmark shows. You're making it for Hallmark. You know, you're making non-interesting, non-threatening, just surface level garbage. You know, and Lucas did it too. I don't think like it's like a Disney problem. He started. He made the Caravan of Freaking Courage. I don't know if you people ever sat through that thing, but I was the demographic for that. I was 7 or 8 when that came out, and that shit sucked too. Beautiful poster by Drew Struzan, though. Gorgeous poster. I'd be more up for garbage Star Wars if they were getting amazing posters from Drew Struzan, but we're not even getting that. So, I love Star Wars Visions. That I just wish they would use Star Wars Visions as like a pilot program for animated series. You know, the Ronin would have loved to have more of that. The Ninth Jedi, an animated, series. There was this one called Lop with like Chinese influence and stuff. And like, oh, it was so beautiful. Happily would watch all of it. But that stuff is daring. And now, to be fair, first season of Visions, they did repeat. I got a bad feeling about this, so whoever's in charge of that needs to be coordinating. Hey, don't repeat the same phrase every show. But other than that, there we are. Kids are watching Demon Slayer, man. They're watching Chainsaw Man. You know, I mean, for the love of God Almighty, when Breath of the Wild is taking more emotional risks than your space opera series, with the word wars in the title, you should rethink your whole position. And I've talked shit to Lucasfilm directly. Like, I'm not saying this is some random dude, on the internet. Like, I worked on licensed apparel, specifically the Star Wars shirt back in 2012. And well, from 2011 to 2015, that's when I kind of got out of it. I did some stuff in 2017, but I don't really count that. I don't want to get into it. I just say 2015. I had a 4 or 5 years run on that. But in 2012, we were suffering record low sales of all Star Wars merchandise, right? They put out that 3D movie re-release, and I'm a big 3D guy, but that was a shit conversion, and it didn't do no money. We did all these episode 1 t-shirts with Darth Maul, and I guess they had figured at the time that all those kids who grew up the prequels would be, you know, in their 30s now, and they would buy the stuff on nostalgia, and nobody bought shit. Like, we took a massive hit on all the merch. There was some great stuff being designed too, man. You know, so nah, man, that wasn't it. And so we had this all hands phone meeting with Lucasfilm, and this was right before they sold it to Disney, right? So this is actual true Lucasfilm still being run by George Lucas. So I don't want to hear nothing about Disney. And we had the Avengers license, right? So we were doing stuff for Marvel, and so we're on this phone thing, and they're like, "What can you do to, like, you know, to?" Well, they were asking us what we could do to, what programs we could muster up, or things we could do to kind of like get Star Wars stuff selling. And I just was like, normally I keep my mouth shut in meetings. I just take notes and pay attention, you know. I never draw when I'm in meetings, by the way. I pay attention. But I was kind of fed up because I'm a big Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is like, I was a Star Wars fan when there wasn't any, you know, like from the 80s, 90s. Like, so it was my jam. But, you know, uh, but after Attack of the Clones, I walked out of the theater and threw away my stupid lightsaber I just bought. So I was kind of fed up with it. But I'm sitting there, and I'm like, look, man, you know, Avengers just came out. You haven't had a movie in the theaters since 2005. Since 2005. If you started production today, it would still take you 3 years to get a script done, probably go through all the approvals, blah, 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 pre-production. It wouldn't be in theaters till the earliest till like 2015. All right? Like, I'm just doing the math. And I said all this, right? And all my life, I said this. And so it's not our job to make Star Wars popular. You got to make it. T-shirts are bumper stickers. They're something people buy because they want to, you know, like tattoos. They're showing off the thing they really like. We can't make this cool. It has to already be cool. We're just, you know, finding interesting ways to get it, you know, it's sold, but can't make it cool if everyone thinks it's a goof. And right now it's a goof. Avengers is kicking your ass. So that's what you need. You need movies, and they need to be good movies. They need to be able to compete with the Marvel movies. That's what needs to happen. And then, you know, 3 months later, they announced the sale. I had nothing to do with that, but, you know, they announced the sale to Disney, and it all looked like. I mean, I even said that thing. They should just hire the guy who did Star Trek. I made that comment, right? And or what was it? Brad Bird was the other one, you know. But here we are, right? They're right back where they always started, and it comes from them chasing. They're trying to chase kids, and they're trying to chase probably the YA market. If you want to get girls into Star Wars without their boyfriends taking them, don't chase Twilight and don't chase Hunger Games. Not that I have anything wrong with that stuff. It's fine. But if you're gonna chase the horror crowd. I've always said the horror fans make something scary in a Star Wars movie. You know, make a really good Sith villain. I mean, it's just as crazy that the Jedi have lightsabers, but they never have any villains to fight because George came up with this dumb rule that there are only be 2 bad guys at any given time, and now they're all dead and extinct. Like, we got to get rid of that, man. You know, that's hurting things. It's not helping. You gotta place it way forward. Just move forward. Say that's the way it was before, but now it's not that way anymore because, you know, when you're making 1 or 3 movies, maybe even 6, you can get away with it. But when you're gonna tell thousands of hours worth of stories and video games and movies and TV and comic books, that's not gonna work anymore. You need compelling villains that are, awesome to watch and terrifying to watch, and especially when you talk about people who carry around swords made from lasers and stuff. And it's just like, you know, here we are. We're right back to like goofiness, goofiness. It's just goofy. It's corniness, corny Star Wars. And I always say, man, look, put it in theaters. I dare you. Remember when George put the Clone Wars cartoon into theaters? How will that do? Nothing, And Filoni was, they go, well, they fixed it something. No, they really haven't fixed it. It's still, none of the Clone Wars cartoons are as good as Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. None of it. That was written by a woman, drawn by a woman, like brilliant anime. All 18 hardcovers. I can wheel them in here. I've seen the Brotherhood, the anime, brilliant. I've watched it. Got to be probably a dozen times now. I just leave it in while I work. It's probably way more than that. I'm just being conservative. So they got to capture that. I mean, they should be building grassroots with the anime fans. I mean, I'll give them credit. The stories in the video games are more compelling than what they're doing in live action. So, there you go, man. And everyone wants to have, I am DJ says, right, it's a whole different form. Yeah, it's a whole different formula. Even Marvel, like when they finished the Infinity Game stuff, they went for corny shit, And I was like, you should go for the horror crap. Put in monsters. Like we should be on the 3rd Blade movie by now. They should have gone horror and street level combat, like Daredevil, monsters, Spider-Man, boots on the ground Spider-Man, but it's so many things a little difficult to deal with. I'll be fair with that. But in a perfect world, I'm just saying, not like, I mean, and then transition into like mutants and all that stuff. But you keep chasing that corny shit. Good luck. Good luck with that. The Batman didn't, and it made $750 million. Hey, zombie, what's up? So it's like I'm at least trying to say like it's totally doable, but they got to stop making corny bullshit. I think they like the corny stuff. I think they think that that's like, man, I love Muppets, dude. But you know what Muppet Show was fucking awesome? It was called The Muppets. Came out in 2014 or 13 or something like that. It looked like The Office, but with The Muppet Show, was awesome. And fucking Twitter eviscerated it. They said it's too harsh, it's too mean, it's not fun. I'm like, no, it's hilarious. The original Muppets was was totally for adults and for kids, man. Like, but somewhere around the 80s when Muppet Babies came out, the Muppets became Hallmark. They ended up on Happy Meals. The Muppet Babies room, and in a way, Grogu, right, or Baby Yoda. It's kind of now they want everything to be a Baby Yoda, right? They want that. They didn't even know how to handle Baby Yoda right, to be honest with you. Because like Grogu's got the dumbest fucking name ever. Like it's not even as good as Goku, but I see what you're going for. I'm Dejure says all the great makeup artists, costume, and CGI. They have the money, man. They got no excuse. This is where I get a little heated. I'm like, I got a giant corporate. So in 2012, I had this giant corporation, right, that has all this stuff, and they're telling me, I gotta make their shit cool. You got fucking X-Wing fighters. They should just be cool. Like Top Gun came out and had a trench run. Top Gun, Maverick, did better Star Wars than Star Wars. Put Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise in charge of fucking Lucasfilm. Seriously. Because you may not like his religion. I don't like any religion. So fuck all religions, right? But they know how to produce good films. Let's see. Oblivion, all the Mission Impossible movies, Edge of Tomorrow, Maverick, right? Reacher is like the weakest one, and even then, it's still a good movie. It's just not a good Reacher movie, right? but it took itself seriously. It's not like he wasn't out there kicking people's ass in that film or nothing. It's just he wasn't built like Reacher. You know? Yeah. Okay. But otherwise, folks, don't we have enough cool shit to watch? Who cares? If they fuck up Star Wars for another, or if I never get to see great Star Wars ever again, oh well. You know? 45. Maybe it takes 20 years. I'll be in my 60s before they get to it. Okay. You know? Keep making mediocre shit. See where it gets you. I mean, the only thing being worsely managed is the Sony spiderless Spider-Verse. Man, did you guys hear? I mean, I should read these articles, but I can't because I'm drawing. But if Sony released Lord and Miller because after their from their contract, so like once they're done with Spider Noir or whatever, like they're gonna be done. They're not renewing anything. I guess they felt the budgets were too big or something. I don't think that has anything to do with it. If I had to put my money on it, having worked on Spider-Man merge from Spider-Man 3 all the way to Homecoming, if I had to put my money on it, conspiracy theory, I'd say Avi Arad's jealous. Avi Arad's jealous that those guys get all the praise for making good Spider-Man. Never underestimate the ego of Avi Arad, right? Never underestimate. He just produced Borderlands, the movie. You know, but he's 100% the reason why we got shitty Venom movies and Spider-Man 3 and Morbius and that guy, man. He's a relic, dude. I didn't like I didn't really care for his choices in the early 2000s. You know, but here we are. Did Lucas? I'm just says, did Lucas Films do the whole hiring to? Everyone should be hiring. No, man, you need many voices. I don't want to hear that, right? Like, you need many voices. This has nothing to do with diversity. Bo DeMeo, whom has probably done things I don't agree with on a professional level, creatively wrote X-Men '97. Man, you know what I mean? Come on, you know. There's plenty of diverse people working on Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is brilliant. So, no, the problem is the studios want to appeal. I'm telling you, they put everything under demographics. They want to appeal to age groups, teens and preteens. And they think doing that means pandering. And it's like, no, you got to make awesome shit. But the people in charge are so old, they don't even know anymore. They just won't take risks. They're not risk takers. They're afraid. Some B movie says the one wrinkle in Tom Cruise's endeavor is that his movies are costing way too much money. No, they don't cost. I mean, look, I can't agree that I don't think any of that stuff you've read is accurate when it comes down to budgets. But that is up to the studio and him. They make great movies. They've never broke $1 billion. Mission Impossible might actually do it if it went full R, but they play in that PG-13 space. So did Top Gun Maverick. So like, it is what it is, dude. They know how to make quality things. You make quality stuff first. You make quality stuff first, and they don't know how to do it. I mean, every one of those, and you can't underestimate. I've thought about Mission Impossible 7 a few times. I saw it 7 times in the theater. I've seen them all numerically in the theater in terms of I saw the first one once in the theater, the second one twice, the third one third. I've been I've been playing the long game, So the problem, I could tell you one of the big problems they had with Mission Impossible 7, and no one wants to say this. I'm a big fan of Isai Morales, who played the villain since La Bamba. He played Richie's brother. He's the one yelling Richie, right? Big fan of him, but he is not a box office draw. Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout had Henry Cavill, and the whole internet was like, "Oh man, I want to see Tom Cruise fight Superman." So Mission Impossible needed a villain, the actor, to be someone that they could draw in. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna say it now. Since the movie is tied to supposedly his origins into the IMF, should have been Keanu Reeves. Because you needed someone from the 90s. Now you imagine seeing Tom Cruise versus John Wick. You know? That you gotta book it. You gotta book it, man. Loopy says, "Hey, I heard quality. I like those words. What up, Sketch? Just got done doing some late night figure drawing. I think Mission Impossible 4 is perfection. I loved it. Went through 3 different big set pieces. Certainly, the Verge Khalif is the best set piece, and even Christopher McQuarrie will admit it. Yeah, I have to agree. That is great. I'm not a fan of the Benji hovering skit. Like it's goofy. It works. It doesn't last that long, but it doesn't look that good. The wire work, it doesn't. It's not my favorite bit, but I love the movie. I think it opens great, has a fun ending, and McQuarrie worked on that too. But I'm not a big fan of the hovering thing, and yeah, I don't know. But the movie is a solid 9.5 out of 10, dude. I mean, it's 9 to 9.5. So it's no complaints about Ghost Protocol, dude. No complaints. I love them all. You know. But McQuarrie did a lot of uncredited work on Ghost Protocol, so. But I figured, look, if they can't do an R-rated thing because that's not the movie they're making, get John Wick. I'm sure Keanu. If not Keanu, they could have got someone from the '90s. What's Christian Slater up to? I don't some draw. Hugh Jackman. They need some kind of draw for that movie for the villain. I think Fallout has visually the best looking. They've managed to do. It's to me like Fallout is the logical extension from the Dark Knight, but it has almost a 60s motif to the look too, like the mod, the UK mod 60s through the filter of like a Dark Knight. It's a beautiful film. Then you want to see a spin-off movie, The Asian Dude That Fought in the Bathroom? He made such a lasting impression. Oh, you haven't seen Fallout? Floopy. My man. Floopy. You're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. I would put that on this weekend if I was you, Floop. If I was you. Floopy says, by the way, congrats on the oh, thank you. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. Doing my part. To draw fun comics, and it's harder. It's harder when everything's designed. You're like the buildings are designed, everything's stylized. It takes, takes me effort. I don't know. Maybe some people they just crap out genius, but not me. Some B says talking about goofy shit. Saw that Alien movie. Huh. Most people like it. Haven't seen it yet. Mega Mario says, and what a good part it was. Just 1 week till issue 2. Issue 2. Yeah, issue 2. Well, I don't know. Everyone's going to complain about. So I'd say if you make a solid 7.0 of anything, I think you're in good territory, you know? But if you are Alien is not at if you're at a Star Wars level, you need to be hitting 8s and 9s, you know, every time. You can't be hitting 5s and 4s and 3s. Unacceptable. I mean, why didn't Marvel just do Marvel Zombies as an animated film? You know, like a high quality animated film, release in October. You know, do 500-600 million dollars. It's gonna be a 4 episode series on Disney Plus. It's gonna drop like a fart in the wind. You know, 4 episodes. What are you supposed to do with 4 episodes? I said this on Threads, and someone was like, "Hey man, you gotta understand not everything." I was like, yeah. If X-Men was 4 episodes, people would just be mad. Four, four. What universe are you living in? Four? No, man, just make it a movie then. See, here's something else I don't care for Disney. I don't this is definitely a Disney Plus problem because it's not just limited to Star Wars or Marvel. Limited to everything they do there. This not quite a movie, not quite a TV show thing. Nope. Not working. Not working at all. Not working at all. Needs to be made. Do a TV show. A full, I'd say 10 episodes. This 8 episodes a season. House of Dragon was ridiculous. See, Warner Bros. Starting to do it too, right? Zaslav comes in, is like, I'm gonna save some money. Cut 2 episodes. It needed the 2 episodes, man. Quite frankly, I love House of Dragon. Really love it. I'll take it. But you could take the first 2 seasons and make 4 seasons out of it if it was paced like the original Game of Thrones. It's already being sped up, you know? And it's like you cut 2 episodes out, man. Like ridiculous. 10 episodes of 1 hour episodes is perfect. I'd say that's the sweet spot. I did like Netflix's 13 episode of Daredevil because you know you some people didn't like it. I liked it because you do get those character bits that aren't plot focused. Some people don't like it, but 10 hours, man, I can accept it. Somebody says they nailed the atmosphere in the beginning, but then turned kind of schlocky. I hear my buddy complained it. He didn't like it in the third act. I got another buddy who took his kids and they loved it. So it's hit or miss for some people, but it's got to be better than Alien Covenant. I'm actually looking forward to the series Noah Hawley's doing. Um, Alien Earth or whatever. Using that cover art from the original Alien 3 cover art. The character bits are plot, though. No, plot. Character bits are world building. Characters are characters. Plot is literally like picking something up to go to somewhere to do some. I'm not a plot guy. Look, if you want my opinion, you write great characters. I could just watch them hanging out, walking down the street. So, um, but this 8 episode shit's got to stop. And 6 to 8 episodes of like a 26-minute thing is just, yeah, that's not the universe we're living in. Like, if you don't want to make that, then just don't make TV. You know, make a movie. Go make a 2 hour movie. Perfectly fine with it. Perfectly fine with that. But don't be fooled, man. Everyone who says they love Daredevil now, all the pundits on YouTube, camping all those guys, man. As interesting as those dudes are, like when Daredevil was out, I know I was working on the Daredevil merch. For no one bought it, man, but I was doing all the Daredevil merch. So I was watching the show. Everyone at the time was complaining that there were filler episodes, you know, and that 13 was too long. This should be somewhere at 8. I mean, they even said sometimes, I remember on Collider, they were like, maybe even 8. And I'm like, no, you can't do 8. What are you talking about? 8. And now we're there, you know? And they forget they ever said that shit, but they did. Yeah, but 8 35-minute episodes, just go make a movie. So looking forward to this Penguin show, although it you can definitely see the parts that they don't have Greg Fraser doing the cinematography, so you can see what's a Batman movie clip and what's the TV show. Like they're going for the aesthetic, but it's it's not at the same level as Greg Fraser, but it's still pretty good. There's a baby. Somebody says there was a baby with him at the Alien showing. Thank Jesus, man. Someone brought a baby. What? Someone brought a baby to the IMAX of the first Transformers movie, and I remember they're just like, "This is like 60,000 watts of sound." I'm like, "You're gonna blow out that kid's freaking eardrums, man." I'm sure says, "Right, LOL. They could even do a follow up if need be with the revenue they make." The movie. Yeah, just do a movie. The maintenance of these streaming services isn't worth it. It costs them like $1 billion a month to run the bandwidth, and I'm like, I at that point, man, just license your shit out to Netflix. I'm seriously like, because it's not working. We gotten a few good things out of it, but they just they want to charge more and give you less at this point. It's like, you know, I'm not doing it. I've canceled my Disney Plus until Andor comes out. Um, if the Spider-Man cartoon is dope, I'll re-up it for that. But they're gonna get that thing they hate, the churn and burn for me. And if they somehow penalize, I figure at some point they're gonna try to charge like late fee, or not late fees, but like penalties for canceling. Or they'll make it so you can only buy it for a year. And when they go to there, when that happens, well, you know, there's I don't advocate piracy, but there'll be options, you know. But I figure that's the next move. They're gonna make it so they're gonna do this bundling thing first, and that'll get you some win. But after a year or two, eventually, I figure they're gonna do it. You can only do it monthly, or they're gonna try that thing that Adobe does whenever you cancel Adobe subscriptions. And they want to charge you like a year's worth of stuff. Like You can do monthly, but if you cancel within the first year, then you're going to be charged for a full year. And once they do that, that'll be the federal legislation will have to come in, or that'll be the end of a lot of these streaming services. Ubi says, "Oh, what do you think of the new Transformers movie? I know people will love it, but too much comedy for me. No interest, really. You know, I didn't really even like Bumblebee, so you know. Some of the musical score ended up on YouTube Music, so I listened to it. I didn't think it was anything special, you know. I don't know why they can't just make a G1 movie that just looks like the G1 stuff. You're not improving on the formula, you know? You're just not. It's like when I watch Turtles movies that don't have ninjas in it. It's like, no, I want the ninjas. You know, they're otherwise they're not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're Teenage Mutant Turtles. I want the ninjas. But remember that Transformers Devastation, the video game? I mean, that was G1 cell shaded. Looked great. You know? They could have adapted The War Within. The War Within was a great comic that DreamWorks put out 20 years ago. They could have adapted that storyline into a film or a couple of films, really. You know, and then done G1. They've just never done it. It's like they haven't even given us the real 80s GI Joe, you know? It's just so strange to me. Leo Bonaventura, or whatever his name is, he's the one in charge of all that Transformer shit. He's just as bad as Avi Arad. And I sat through Jason, my buddy Jason told me that last Transformers Rise of the Beast. I fucking can't stand Beast Wars. I didn't care for it in the 90s. I don't care, you know, for Gorilla Star Wars and if you, I got Dinobots. I don't need any, I just don't I never cared for the designs. All right. It's not my thing. I want robot animals. I want them to be fully robotic, not indistinguishable from animals. It's a thing I have, right? So I went to go see it. And it's just more schlocky bullshit, you know? It was just goofy, corny stuff. There's some story to be told about the brother. The guy and his brother. There's something there to be done, but Optimus Prime's an asshole in the movie the whole time. And then eventually he has to wear a power suit that is again just another version of that suit from the first G.I. Joe movie they were all wearing when they were wearing power suits. And I'm like, can you just make the damn Transformers thing? Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard? You know? Hey, Long Arm's back. That's been a while. What's up, Long Arm? Somebody says, next month we're having 2 animated movies about robots. What's the other one? See if I can remember before you say it. What's the other one? Oh, the wild robot, the wild bot with Chris Sanders, right? Right? Am I right? That's it. Do you think it would be? Who says? Do you think it would be too easy? I don't. There's nothing easy about making anything, man. Everything is hard to do. Um, it's just they're trying to find a way to like make it fresh or hip, and I'm like, just make it the best. Take see these 80s things, man. They should feel like they should be the way you imagine them to be, not kind of the way they were. But like you're not beating the designs from the 80s. You can like add more detail, right? But like it's there. The designs are there. You know. But a lot of people, a lot of studios are still afraid of Walmart moms, man. That's what we used to call them. I guess now you call them Karens and shit. But for 20 years, we would call them Walmart moms. And those are the moms that go to Walmart and all they do is complain about shit. So they're afraid of the Karens. And when this stuff's sitting on a shelf, they endlessly hear complaints. And they're kind of marketing everything for those people, and they should stay away from it. You know, you shouldn't even worry about it. Complaints are gonna let them complain. Just make cool shit. That's why when we got the first Turtles movie, Walmart moms complained about it being too violent. The movie was too dark. April wasn't pretty enough. I mean, they said all these things, and then they're you know, so they have them using sausage links and food fights in the second movie, and they recast April, and it's just so fucking dumb. You know, I'm not a fan of Secret of the Use. Sorry, folks. Long as it's still here in Idaho. Yeah, I am. Yes, sir. First Turtles was great. And that's not just nostalgia talking, you know. It had a lot of things going for it. One, the director really wanted it to feel like it should feel like Ghostbusters, and that it was like a supernatural, it was a fantastic story set in New York. And it should feel like New York, and it should have that same kind of feeling. The editor was the editor. She went on to do Sally, I think Sally something. She went on to go be Tarantino's editor. Like obviously Henson and Brian Henson was really a big part of that movie, and they were just, you know, they were going for, you know, authenticity, and they let the ninjas be a part of the damn story. You know, look, I get they're mutants and you want to put crazy creatures in there, and I'm not saying you couldn't, but they've done it again. They always lean back on like the Archie comics. Archie comics leaned on the mutants, and now it's Ray Fillet and all this other fucking shit. And you're like, when you do too much of that, it's when He-Man went out of control with the He-Man toys, Stinkor, and you got all these ridiculous names, and it's funny and we can all do it, but it starts to turn into dad jokes. You know, you can't take it seriously at that point. As serious as, you know, it's already kind of goofy to begin with. So I have a philosophy, a saying. You can have fun, but do not make fun of the thing you're working on. So I think you could say, if you've seen my comic, people would say it's fun, but I don't allow the art to make fun. When Spawn shows up in my comic, I don't draw. I mean, he's stylized. He's certainly stylized. But I'm not like doing the spoon thing where it's like a goof on Spawn, or he's tripping his own over his own cape that's ridiculously too long. And Spider-Verse is having fun. Spider-Verse 1 and 2 do not make fun. I mean, there's even a damn Christmas album that Chris Pine sings. You can listen to it. I put it on every Christmas. You know? That's the exact, to me, that's the gold standard for having fun but not making fun. And Sony canceling their contracts with Lord Miller is pretty fucking stupid. Like, I don't give a shit if they go over budget. Cancel Craven and Morbius and give them the money, you know, because they're gonna make you some shit that fucking, they're gonna put the, and they know how to delegate. They didn't direct Spider-Verse. They put the directors, you know, people of color, animators. They put talented people in there. You know, they know how to delegate. It's like, look, Lucasfilm fired them halfway through Solo. That movie turned out like garbage. So what a dumb move that was. They made a depressing Han Solo movie. Everyone wants to see a Han Solo movie where everyone dies and he's looks like he's got pouty face the whole time. That great, wonderful. That's Han Solo. That's Han Solo's damn. He's Burt Reynolds, man. Highest grossing movie in 1977 was Star Wars. Do you know what the second highest grossing movie of 1977 was? Smokey and the Bandit. Han Solo. If you're going to do a Han Solo movie, which you shouldn't, but if you're going to do it, you call it Smokey and the Bandit, and you know what you call the movie? You call it The Smuggler's Run! And you make it a fucking beer run in space. You make it Smokey and the Bandit, It's a Mad, Mad World, Cannonball Run. You make it in, like, god damn it, you know? Some B says, I know monopolies are bad, but I won't feel sad for Sony once they lose Spider-Man. Me neither, man. You know? I mean, I was so excited, but the first project I ever worked on licensees was Spider-Man 3. You know, we had it almost a year in advance. We had to work on that stuff. And I was so excited when I got the assets. And then I go, oh man, we're going to have the Venom Spider-Man, the black suit Spider-Man. This is going to be great. Black suit. And then I get to the assets with Harry's character. And in the style guide, it was called Night Surfer. Which I thought, he's clearly Green Goblin, but he does have like a hoverboard, you know? But I guess this is Green Goblin. I just want to call him Green Goblin. But no, man, that character's called Night Surfer. You know? And then they showed off the PlayStation 3 with the Spider-Man font, and I was just like, oh man, you know? Props to the video games and the animation. Sony Animation is not Sony Studios. It's a different entity. Sony Animation, Phil Lord, Chris Miller, their whole crew, the directors of those two. I gotta memorize those guys' names. It's just easy to say Lord and Miller, right? I don't want to give producers credit for the guys who actually fucking directed those films. And the video games have all done a great job. But the movies, Jesus, man. I remember when we got the assets for the Amazing Spider-Man reboot movie with Andrew Garfield. With the first time we saw what the lizard looked like, and I just laughed. I'm like, he looks like fucking a Goomba. Like, you can't have the lizard, can't have smiling resting face, guys. Okay? He's got to be like scary. And you could see like they gave him a friendly face so he wouldn't scare kids or some shit. And I'm just like, fucking bloody hell, man. You know? And now they're making a Craven movie where it's all blood, and I'm like, who gives a shit? Craven should be hunting Spider-Man. You know, I mean, to be fair, Craven should have been in the third Spider-Man movie where Bruce Campbell, you know, playing like the crocodile hunter, you know, but trying to bag a Spider-Man. He should have been like a B story villain who's just getting in the way. Would have been fun. But now they're like, we're going to turn Craven into a superhero. I'm like, you fuck out of here, man. Like, Casey Jones is a better character than Craven. Are you out your fucking mind? You know? You don't know, Rob. It's going to make $1 billion. Okay, man. I don't give a shit. Aquaman made $1 billion. That movie's garbage. You know? It looks... The camera work on Aquaman is like when you watch Soul Calibur in demo mode and it's just flying around all over the fucking place, right? Don't give a fuck how much it made. How well did it work out long term? Did that version of Aquaman really work? No, he's gonna end up being Lobo. Didn't do anyone any favors, you know? Only part of that Aquaman movie that looked cool was the scary trench shit, but you know, there really wasn't much to it. It was just I had to sit through that. I remember when that came out, it was on every airplane flight. That year I was flying a lot for a bunch of different reasons. And I had to like, I must have seen it like eight, like it'd be on everyone's TV. They'd always glance up and, oh, fucking Aquaman again, you know? Well, I hope Marvel or DC is talking to Lord Miller, you know? I'm sure James Gunn would like to be in business with those guys. Hand them the X-Men, for all I care. They made me love a Lego movie. You figure that one out. Gunn gets Lord Miller, oh man, yeah, you know? I mean, if they want to do a Batman movie or have Batman have like the extended family, then Lord and Miller are probably the best guys to execute that. They were kind of like, hey, live action is different, buddy. Live action is different. But yeah, they were producing it. They didn't direct it. I stand by Lego Batman. Lego Batman is the funniest movie I've seen in the theaters since Tropic Thunder and Anchorman, and then Team America. Like Lego Batman is the only movie I've ever watched that had me laughing at a blank screen. I told my buddy, hey man, when it was in theaters, like, look, if you aren't laughing in the first 15 seconds, you don't have a soul. Lego Batman's a good indicator to be like to gauge, you know, if you have an actual soul, if you have a heart. Like that Blade Runner test they would do. You just put all I gotta do is put on Lego Batman, and if you don't laugh, then you're a replicant. I was making fun of Avi Arad to my buddy who he still works on Marvel merch. So he's been working on Marvel merch longer than me. and I was like giving Avi Arad the Raul Julia Adams family voice, you know. I'm Avi Arad, you know, like just have him watch him like somersault into the writer's room, you know, and it's just batshit crazy. It's got knives, make it more violent, you know. Drawing bullet shells, tons of bullet shells. But I'll take Lord Miller on Batman over Andrew Muschietti. The production design on The Flash is god awful. God awful. For Batman and for everyone. Nothing looked more plasticky and boring in that film. You want to talk about a guy who balloons budgets? The Amazing Spider-Man was supposed to be a low budget, 80 million, low budget 80 million. It was supposed to be like a 60 to 80 million dollar film, like 80 million, sub 100 because Spider-Man 3 cost 300. And it was supposed to use practical swinging effects and all this stuff. They bragged about it, but Avi gets in charge, and all of a sudden, it's you got the remember the teaser trailer for Amazing Spider-Man? It was a completely CGI POV. It looked like Mirror's Edge Spider-Man. There was a completely CGI teaser trailer. No humans in it whatsoever. It was a total opposite. Because you were bragging, like, we got this guy named Mark Webb, and we're going to actually swing from cranes. And there was this fan film done in the 90s by this guy who did, like, his own stunt work when he played Peter Parker, and he actually swung on actual, like, rope and shit in New York. And I thought maybe they'll do real, it'll be like that, but they'll do, like, a big budget version of it. Nope. Avi gets in charge, and it turns into another $300 million film or $200 million film. Big CGI lizard, big giant CGI crane sequence. Everyone needed a crane sequence. Get to the second film, Rhino's wearing a mech suit. Come on, man. Bullet shells. Bullet shells. All right. Stretch. I'm gonna take a 5 minute, 10 minute stretch here. Get some water. and then I'm gonna be back, and we'll do another 90 minutes, and then I'll log off. So give me like 5-10 minutes. Luby says that's it. Give Rob 1 billion. Let him direct 2. Oh, I'm not directing shit. You crazy? I got a buddy who's a cinematographer who's been, he does his own short films. He's been trying to get, a real directing gig for years now. And I told him, I said, you ever get that gig, I get to drive the golf cart. All right, give me 5-10 minutes. I'll be right back. Loopy opinions on games sticking with this realism thing. Who's asking for that? Take me back to the old days where every game had personality. Hey man, that's why I've been waiting for Tim Schafer's next game. Ever since Microsoft bought Double Fine, they haven't had any announcements. Love Psychonauts 2. But that's why looking forward to Dragon Quest 3 HD this year. Sorry, I tend to do flutter kicks while I'm on my break just to get the circulation going in my legs. At my age, when you're drawing for hours, you can get your feet can swell up. So I do squats and flutter kicks to keep the circulation going throughout the day. It gets the heart rate going too, so. I am looking forward to seeing the Turtles cartoon, even though I know it's going to be mostly mutants, but whatever. The animation crew is very good. They did Rise, and I couldn't stand the visual design on Rise, but the quality of animation, 2D animation, was excellent. Mega Mars says, ever play Secrets of Mana? Or any of the games? Oh yeah, man, I played all those when they came out. You could rent them at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, so yeah. I mean, man, it was like a better Zelda. I loved the one on the PS1 with the hand-drawn backgrounds. The gameplay was mixed, but it was so beautiful. I just kept playing it. And then there was one of the Mana games on the DS I thought was really good. If I could get the gameplay of the one on the DS with the visual design of the PS1, that would be perfect Mana for me. My only problem with like the Mario games, and it's really Nintendo games in general, and I've lamented about this ad nauseum this past year, but I'm done with the limitations of the Switch. It's been enough. Been enough. By the time the Switch 2 comes out, we're gonna be at 9 years. 9 years with the same hardware. And because of the memory limitations, the games are like they're locked. They're kind of like they all have the same look. The Switch shipped with low memory for 2016, and you know, granted they've done their best, you know, with it, but 9 years, 9 years. I mean, 9 years, guys. Like that's like imagine if it was the NES in '85. This would be 1994 before we got a Super Nintendo. That's when the Super Nintendo was ending. Megamar says, nice, had Heroes of Man on the DS. I think there was another one. Yeah, I think Heroes was, because you could do multiplayer, you could do co-op on Heroes, right? It was the co-op one that I played. I thought that was good. Yeah, 9 years, man. And that's even if it comes out in 2025. Really? It could go 10 years. We're all assuming it's going to come out next year. There's no guarantee. It was shown off in 2016. The hardware's locked, dude. You know? I got invited to the press demo because of my ties to, you know, Game Fan and shit, but I didn't want to fly out of Idaho. No, man, they've been developing for 9 years. And no, because we all guys look, COVID didn't help with time, right? We're all off by like 3 years with COVID, you know, in our heads. At the same time, time moves a little faster as you get older. So you go, oh, it just came out. No, it did not just come out. You know, it did not just come out. So, yeah. Visually, those games hit their limit. The Switch games, to me, haven't visually improved. I'm gonna be honest, man. Since maybe I think the peak you can do is Tears of the Kingdom, but I don't see much of a difference between that and Breath of the Wild. Some better bloom. It's got some better bloom. You know? Kirby looks nice, but no different. Bowser's Fury is the only thing that kind of looks like it's pushing it, but performance dips. I get like 20 frames per second on Bowser's Fury. You know? Performance dips. So... And I know like Metroid 4 looked all interesting, but you know, it still doesn't look like PS4 interesting, you know? It looks like a really well done Wii game. So Xenoblade 3 looked good, and it still struggles with performance on Xenoblade 3. Still struggles with performance. You get to those open areas and I can chug. Chug, 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 chug. So it's fine, but I am personally bored with the hardware and the way the games are being built to deal with it. You know, Metroid Dread was where I had my fill. Had my fill of it with Metroid Dread. Because like I was like, this is a fun 2D thing, but if Vanillaware had hand drawn this, it would look way better. I'd rather this look like Miramasa than Donkey Kong Country Returns, you know? They even show that Donkey Kong Country Returns remake, and it just, you know, it's plastic. It's plastic. There's no memory on that system, guys. There's only so much you can do. You know, that's why RAM is important. Vanillaware Metroid. I know, right? God, I know. I know. I know. I know. Right there with you. Yeah, no stress, Mega. Peace. Do I do this? You know, I'd like a Zelda game. I mean, look, the Wind Waker, not the Wind Waker, the new Zelda, Tears of the, well, not Tears, the damn Link's Awakening, Zelda's Awakening. How about I call it that? You got all these, they got all these names that it's like they all sound the same now. So it's like it still doesn't visually do. There's some devs I follow on Threads that are making like a Link's Awakening style top-down game where you can build cities and shit in that style, and it's way better looking than that game. And it's like, you know, it's conservative. All very, I don't mean politically, I mean design wise. It's just very conservative. Yeah, I played the Ocarina style demo on the Wii U at E3 in 2011. And I wish I could play a Zelda game that looked like that. I love Wind Waker. I would love to play a Wind Waker game that was way more densely built. You know, like a Genshin Impact with like chibi style characters would be great. But you can't even get a Zelda game at Genshin Impact level because RAM, you know? I, for one, am looking forward to the Switch 2. I think it's going to be solid hardware. I'm genuinely excited for it. But it's high time. It's high time. High time. We got it. That Darksiders 2 HD remaster looked fantastic, right? The way they did the lighting or shading on the characters looked like real-time ZBrush. Looked really good. Visually stunning. Yeah, Genshin Impact is visually stunning. I wish I could get a Zelda game that looked like that. Open. Is anything that can be by Switch 2? It's Wind Waker Remaster. Yeah, but I look, the problem with Wind Waker, dude, and look, I was a champion of Wind Waker at the E3 when IGN streamed it exclusively on IGN Live. Remember that bullshit? IGN Live. I was so happy. Here's my problem with Wind Waker. It's got that giant ocean, and you can't fish. They didn't give you the ocarina fishing. You should be able to fish, and you should be able to go underwater and have like a whole underwater kingdom down there. Like, I don't, not just, you know, I don't know. Like, it needs, you know. David Gorl, hey, what's up, Dave? Hope you're doing well. Love the first shoot. Spawn kills there. Spawn, hey, well, thank you. Off topic. So I've already talked about it. Have you seen Alien Romulus yet? No, I have not. No. I used to have a good friend who was my horror buddy, but now that I'm in Idaho, my wife doesn't like to watch horror, and so I can't really justify going to the theater right now for like. I don't like going to the theater alone unless I don't know. Like when it's horror, I like to have a friend there. You know, it's fun. So I'll have to watch it at home at some point. Boy, IGN is a mess. I haven't been there in a while, man, but I'm trying to give you my bona fides, right? Like, you know, I was reading IGN when it was still N64.com. The Imagine Games Network. I'm de jour says there's a Switch 2 in the work. Oh yeah, man. They keep calling, officially Nintendo calls it the Switch successor. But I just think they're gonna call it Switch 2 because it's honestly, if they call it like new Switch or Super Switch, people are just gonna think it's some weird upgrade. So they gotta put a big 2 on it. So Dave says, I know it takes quite a lot to get you to the theater nowadays. Yeah, it does. It does. So, um, yeah. I mean, if my cousin was in town, I'd go see it, or her with my niece, you know, but my wife just doesn't enjoy. I love Aliens, and it's not Aliens, so it's like, it's, you know, it's its own thing, so I can watch it from home, you know. I don't know if I'll be I might be going to the theater to see that Saturday Night Live movie. I really like that trailer. If that gets good word, and if Wildbot is good, Wilderbot or whatever, the Chris Sanders thing, perhaps that as well. But I don't see myself going back to the theater after Deadpool Wolverine. I don't, other than those possibilities. Not a lot coming out this year that I'm terribly interested in. Maybe Beetlejuice. If Beetlejuice is really good, my wife would want to see that. But I haven't enjoyed a Tim Burton movie since Big Fish. So, and honestly, it's not really a Tim Burton film. I mean, you want to go back to like a Tim Burton-y film? I mean, I probably Batman Returns might be the last. Mars Attacks. I like Mars Attacks. The Late Night with the Devil's pretty good one. Yeah. I tend to laugh though during horror stuff, so I don't know. Like I have to be up for a gut punch. I mean, unless there's like I don't know, horror is weird with me. Like horror is weird with me. Like I don't. But I used to have because I had a buddy that would be up for it, and we you know we saw like the Saw movies. I mean, we even saw Drag Me to Hell, which I fucking hated that movie. You know, I was so happy to give Sam Raimi a win after Spider-Man 3, but I was like, what a stupid film. So I don't know. It's so weird. Don't forget Joker 2. You know what? I didn't really like Joker 1. I liked the cinematography, but they just said they said today that there's going to be an animated Looney Tunes like intro or sequence animated by Sylvian the guy who did Triplets of Belleville. I mean, you got to understand, man, Belleville and the Illusionist are like two of my favorite animated things ever. So, yeah, I think Joker might they might trick me to seeing another one of those. So I wanted to like the first Joker, but it just turned out to be another Batman origin story with the pearls dropping at the end, and I was like, I was hoping it was a universe where he kills Bruce Wayne, and there's no hope for a Batman, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm like, this may as well just be a prequel to the Batman set 30 years before, and so you could have like a 60-year-old Batman or Joker, you know, which wouldn't be bad. I mean, if Joaquin Phoenix had played older, put him in makeup, or if they had gotten um, Defoe, you know, but bringing Joaquin in makeup would have. But I mean, you know, I know it was a separate universe thing, folks. I'm just saying, if you're just gonna make another pearls dropping sequence at the end, you know, and we know one day that universe is getting a Batman, what's the difference, you know? Did you see Megan? No, I don't. I saw that. No, I did see the last Chucky movie in theaters because I was out in Jersey with the Megavisions guys, and you know, it wasn't great. In order to see like schlocky horror films, I need a good buddy. I need a friend to go with, and I don't have anybody here who likes to see that sort of shit. So, you know. when my cousin or niece are in, if they ever come in town, or if I go up to Montana to see them, that's like we went and saw it when it first came out, you know, because they're into it. But you know, and then at home, I tend to just lose track of it. I am looking forward to the Noah Hawley Alien TV series because I'm a big fan of Fargo. So I am looking forward to that. Oh, Blue Devils. Am I a fan of Max? Oh, of course I am. I got literally got the Sam Keith artist edition over there. I bought someone did that 3D print of the Max fig, you know, and hand painted it for me and shit. I'm a huge fan of Sam Keith's work. Yeah, huge fan. I even like Zero Girl. Huh? Zero Girl. And I love that Hulk Wolverine thing that most people hate. So, you know. And it has Timothy Oliphant. I know, right? Robocob. So I'm definitely interested in that. If I had my way, I would have given Noah Hawley a Doctor Strange movie instead of Sam Raimi. But yeah, I love the Max cartoon. I usually leave it on when I'm working once or twice a year. If I watch Holly's Legion, yeah, I thought Legion was cool. Yeah, yeah, Legion was dope. Told you I like Noah Hawley's work, you know, like so. Like I couldn't get my wife to watch Prey, separate topic, because you know she's not into horror. But after she saw that What If episode with the Native American superhero chick, I'm like, hey, Prey takes place in Native American times. She's like, maybe I can get her to watch it now, you know. Yeah, with Legion, I just watched the first season. I didn't hear great things with the second, so I skipped it. But it was dope. I think Noah would be the perfect guy to deal with the Punisher. You know, because you need that person who can get inside a character's head, and getting inside of Frank Castle's head. I think is, I mean, Noah. I think that guy could do it. Put on my earpiece because it's getting a little tedious. Alrighty. Let's drawing effects. Like magical effects. Like I'd rather just paint them in, but since I'm not coloring this stuff, I have to do it in black and white. I always do a color guide anyway. I'm like, it's gonna look like this, but I'm like, how the? I would just paint this stuff. Like I do it in black and white. So weird to me. We're hitting the 2 hour mark here. I'm hoping on Fridays from 4 p.m. Mountain Daylight to 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight to do a show with Steven Sanchez on his channel. I call it Sketch X Sketch. I just gotta make the thumbnail. That'll be fun. I'll do like live drawing. I got a bunch of pages to ink anyway, so. I'm hoping Saturday I got a commission to get done that's left over from Comic Con. I agreed to do this one commission from a guy. I thought I could just do it in my room really quick. but the light in my Airbnb, every lamp was an orange bulb, which I like. I can't stand LED lights, but if you're gonna color, you need a neutral light. So even above my desk, I have a neutral light for when I color because any amber light will really throw off. It changes the colors, you know. I owe him that. I had to get some art supplies to deal with it. So everything came in finally, and I have a gunslinger spawn commission to do, but it's gonna require me like I gotta spend the first. I want to try and get it all done on Saturday. It's one of these kind of commissions I wouldn't normally take. It's gonna be a not a fast one. I'm not taking not a fast commission anymore for the foreseeable future. If I do commissions, they're gonna be very easy, like on my end, because I just don't have the time right now. So like remarks and sketch cover like style. But I've been working on this scribbly stuff so I can I mean, I can do those like within an hour, you know, and maybe even two for something really dope, you know. And I think that's a fair trade. Comic Con level stuff. But when it gets into like 8-hour commissions, I don't have time for that stuff anymore. Uh, there'll be no commissions before I do that. This one, you know, I'm gonna hook them up. I also have a Popeye cover that's available for pre-order now, coming out next month. And I did record myself inking that traditionally. I gotta process that video. But it's for the new book I Lie Popeye. And it's like it's really cool, man. It's like what if Popeye was Dragon Ball? It was very anime Dragon Ball-y, but with Popeye. Pretty cool. So I did a cover with Popeye charging up a fireball like Goku would. But then I put Bluto behind him wearing cable like shoulder pad armor made out of like barrels and sea stuff, but he's got spinach cans for ammo. And so, you know, it's going to be a variant cover. September 18th is when it's supposed to launch for issue 2. So, if you guys want to support me, grab that, pre-order that cover, man, because, you know, they only respond to sales. They only respond to sales. Finish this fucking page, guys. There's just so many things you get handed sometimes. You're like, I don't never drawn that before. Never drawn that before. You know. I don't really even know how to do that. You know, 90% of comics is drawing shit you've fucking never drawn before. Unless you can like write your own shit and then you can basically give yourself things you know you're good at. You know, you're constantly just doing shit like, you know. And when once you hit that ground, it's like, you know, confidence is like where speed really comes from. Like you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. Like, boom, knock it out. But if you're not certain you can do it or how to do it, then things just slow down. You know, every now and then on this book, I get handed something where I'm like, I don't know how to make that work. And sometimes it's not even hard. Like it's not. Usually, it's always like, in this case, it's like I gotta get. I want certain type of effects, you know. So sketch things out more, you know. I blob things out. It should be called blobcraft, but you know. And sketching is not rendering and finishing. You know, far too many comics these days are really loose sketches, and you all wonder why like they don't look right. You know, you're like they don't look right because they're not finished. It's like, you know, I gotta make sure this has a good finished look, but at the same time, how do I do that? I don't know. Hmm. I probably should have just been a colorist because I can do color way fast. But I got a problem. I hate coloring other people's work. I just usually want to fix it. But drawing is hard for me. I'm not fast. So, you know, you got to deal with the limit your own limits. So I am deeply sympathetic to anyone who goes into production and tries to make something. I understand there's only so many limits. But I have very little sympathy for large studios who can afford to hire not just afford to hire the best people, but have enough prestige already going for them that the best people would want to work for them. And then when you don't let the people do what they can do, that's another thing. You get involved, it's like always a recipe for disappointment. I know what I am looking forward to this year: Arcane Season 2! Man, I would love a Spawn animated movie to look like Arcane. That Greg Capullo McFarlane style. You know, if I had $1 billion, that's what I would do. Of course, Todd would probably be like, no, I don't want an animated. Got to be live action. I'm like, no, man, animated. I'll pay for it. Something with angels and demons and monsters and shit. But I love Spawn and Todd, but I got a feeling the Spawn movies, if it's him creeping around in the shadows and shit, you know, I don't know about that one. Should be like heavy metal. It should be like Dark Stalkers, Dark Siders. You know, should be over the top. You know, be like Rob's got opinions. Like, yeah, I do. I do. Hey man, I'd love to see Pixar do a Bone trilogy. You know what I mean? I've been saying that for 20 years. You don't think Pixar's adapt? I know, right? Bone would be the perfect thing to adapt for them. Bone. 3 movies. 3 movies. You ever fun of VR Troopers? No, man, I don't care for Super Sentai live action. I think all that shit should be animated, including Power Rangers. I think all that should be animated. I don't really care for the live action stuff. I kind of appreciate when it was shot in like the 70s because it's all on film and it looks, you know, it has a weird look, you know? But overall, no, I prefer animated. It's like I never want to see a live action Street Fighter. I don't give a shit. I want an animated Street Fighter. You know, I'd accept CGI animation, but really 2D. Spider Verse, man. I want that Kingpin, right? Look how Kingpin looks like in Spider Verse. You know, it's amazing. Waiting for my soda sensor to arrive so I can make my own root beers again. Stuck drinking a Diet Coke, and I usually have a soda at night. I'm like, I hate Diet Coke, but usually have a soda at night. Let's see. Zacked. Zacked. Your life will change if you ever tried, Doctor. Oh no, I can't. Like I barely can take this stuff. I normally make myself my own root beer. You know, I use stevia so I don't get headaches, but I get headaches from this other stuff. But it's because I drink so much. I drink decaf black coffee and stuff, but like at night I generally like a little something sweeter because I when you're drawing around the 9 to 10 hour mark, you know, your brain starts to chill out a little bit, and I can't drink caffeine anymore, so very minimal amounts. So Diet Coke seems to be fine, but a coffee, I can't. A regular coffee is too much caffeine for me. You can believe it. I don't like Dr. Pepper. I can't stand it. Capullo Styles class, yeah. They just announced the Vault Edition, you know, Capullo Vault Edition, but I own 3 pages of original Capullo art, so I'm like, I don't know if I'll get it. I'll probably get it though. I'm already buying the Savage Dragon Vault Edition. Like, I already bought it. It's pre-ordered. My wife's going, where are you putting all these damn artist editions? I don't know. I might start putting them in the guest bedroom. See, the thing is like I own 3 pages in the 70s, right? Like issue 71 and I think 2 from 77. And that's when Danny Miki was inking them. And let me tell you something, those inks are so good. I cannot learn anything from it. it's it's so up there. It is beyond my ability to replicate. I can't there's nothing I can pull from that. But the stuff that he did when Todd was inking him, I can pull. It's because it's a little messier. I can pull from that. I can do that to an extent. I tend to not put it on the figures. I tend to put it like on the walls and backgrounds and stuff. But the Miki Capullo, it's such a good. They're so good. There's just good luck with that. Good luck ever trying to replicate that. I mean, Glapion can. Jonathan can. He's so good. But I am. It is beyond Rob. You know. And you know I'm being serious when I speak about myself in the third person. But I have developed some brushes in Photoshop that mimic some of that Todd drag line stuff. I don't do the Terry Austin thing very well. Like Todd does that super version of Terry Austin, but I can get a lot of the different like dragged ink effects and stuff. Somewhere around like Spawn, some of the earlier stuff in the early issues, and then like around the 20s and early 30s, around there I can approximate. As long as you put it in here and there, you know, it starts to feel like that. You don't have to do the whole issue that way. Loopy says, you basically saying it's like the Frank Frazetta level of ink. Yeah, man, like good luck trying to be Sam Keith. I mean, Sam Keith broke his hand being Sam Keith. You know, sucks because I love the work, but you know, definitely. So my natural inking style is somewhere between Bill Watterson and whatever the fuck was going on in Danger Girl, like somewhere between like a responsible version of both. At Tim Townsend, even Tom McWeeny on Battle Chasers, some of that cleaner lines with like Like there's this thing they do where like they I don't know, man. How do you call it? They put lines over in a certain way, and I naturally do that. It's not like I'm looking at comics, like. But with Todd and them, I whenever I'm outside on buildings, issue one wasn't a good example of this. But on issue two and three, moving forward, like anytime I'm outside or on buildings, I definitely try to get that gritty McFarlane stuff from like the earlier issues. And splatter, I like splatter. Like Jorge Corona does really good splatter, so I'd say it's probably something like that. Want to get more contemporary, but I like to layer all my splatters separately digitally, and that way my colorists can trap the splatter, and we can do color holds. And then when I do the traditional lines, I mean, I just have to replicate it. It's not a big deal, but I have figured out how to do digital splatter that looks completely traditional. So I've made my own tricks for that. The thing I can't seem to replicate is, Todd does that thing, man, where he'll like add like a black line on the arm, and then he does this like triangle bit, like it's like a diamond, like almost like it's like a little oop oop oop. And I think he's like, it's the way he's holding the nib. I can't replicate that digitally, and I think even he can. I think when he does it digitally, it comes out looking like little. I don't know. It doesn't come out the same. I've tried everything. I've made up hundreds of custom brushes to get there. I can't. Short of like manually doing it, like I'm trying to find something that kind of helps get me a little bit there without doing it, because I'd spend 12 hours doing that, and I don't really want to do that. I just want to be able to. I'll eventually figure it out right when I'm not working on the book anymore. That's probably how it'll work. But it's not how I naturally like do anything. Just sometimes on the book I want to make it feel spawny. So I figure if long as I get that stuff in there, it'll subconsciously like it'll feel spawnish without, you know, directly trying to do everything that way. I could spend my hours doing the thing I do, which is the deets, you know, or the stylized buildings, which you don't get a lot in issue one, but you're gonna get a whole lot in issue. Uh, some in issue two, but definitely issue 3, 4, 5. No, wait, is there? Let me look. I think there's a shot I specifically did that I'm super proud of, but I can't remember if it was issue 2 or 3. Let me check. Yeah, there's a really good. There's two. Yeah, there's a really good. I take it back. There's some really great building shots, specifically one, one and two. Yeah, page one has, but yeah, there's a page that can't wait to share it with you guys. I'm proud of it. I think it looks great. It was one of the things where the script said something like Spawny runs down the street, and I turned it into a whole lot more than that. Put it that way. Todd would say, "You're not getting paid by the line, bud." You know, like I'm like, well, oh well. Sorry. All the art you're doing for Spawn, all the art you're doing for Spawn's like, oh, thanks. Appreciate that. I'm trying, you know, trying to make something a little new, a little new. Little fun, little fun, little fun. A little, why did you draw that? Why, Rob? A little, a little, sometimes artists look at me like, man, am I gonna have to do that now? Like, you know, they hate it. They hate it. I mean, they don't hate me, no, but they always give me that look like, oh man, I hope they don't expect me to do that. I'm like, they're not gonna expect you to do that. Maybe they won't. But you know that whole thing where they're like, hey man, wish the interiors looked as good as the cover. I can assure you the interiors look better than the covers. On issue 5 I tried, man. I'm Todd made me cut some stuff out the cover, probably too, you know. He knows how to sell covers better than me. What do I know? So I tried to go a little crazy on that one, but we told it back. It's dope. I think issue 5 they put the cover up. I think they put it up. The coloring on that one was not my recommendation, but it's good work. I gave them a version and I think they went with another way. And I don't want to be that guy who complains that he didn't get everything he wanted, you know? So I'm not going to do that. But between us here, kind of wasn't what I wanted. Just like all my covers for some reason, other than issue 4, had like a blue color to them. And I was trying to like add a different color scheme on 4 and 5. And 5 they added blue. I wanted green, a green background, a green color thing going on with the background. And I think they added blue in and with like a green smoke. And it's fine, but you know. It's not up in previews world yet. I saw like an Image Comics thing that had it in there, but we'll see. Sometimes they put an older version out on the solicitations. It has happened. But, you know, if it's not the one I wanted, and Todd and them made changes, then what can Rob do? You know? It's not my book. At the end of the day, I can only guide them. I cannot force them. Loopy says, how was SDC, by the way? I once saw a picture of a con flooded with crazy, literally. Yeah, man. Comic-Con is not big enough. The convention center is not big enough for the amount of people there. If it were Vegas, they would be able to handle the amount of people. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. I was masked up, except for our signing, because you can't talk to people with the mask in that convention. It's too loud. I tried. So I just rolled the dice, and I didn't get COVID, but I had to roll the dice. Guys with me did. Like, so I either my shots worked, you know, or I just got lucky. So I'm gonna side with lucky. But I figured, you know, if I'm gonna risk getting COVID, it's gonna be for signing at the Spawn booth, right, for my own book. Like, I'm not gonna let COVID take that experience away from me. So we rolls the dice. We does. Let's see here. Something else, like, um on my computer, I have a keyboard at the top of my Cintiq. I used to be out here, but I would lean on my arm when I do that. So I tore up my rotator cuff in 2009. I couldn't even do a push-up for like 2 years. It took forever to fix it without surgery. So I took 2 years of physical therapy to make that fix. So now I have a little computer up here. Problem: I get strained muscles in my chest up here, which can cause me to cough sometimes when I'm drawing. I won't cough all day, but when I'm drawing, it happens. So, and it's like right here. There's like some muscle tick or something. But such is life. All right. Edit stroke 24. Edit stroke 14. What are your thoughts on that animated Watchmen movie that came out? I could give two shits less. I'm glad some dudes got paid, you know, animators were employed, but soulless is what it looks like. It looks soulless. It's not because it's CGI. Those guys are doing the best they can, but I suspect that's a rights issue. I suspect that got through to retain some kind of like rights or of some sort. Uh, there's so many things they could. What I want to see, man, is I want to see them put 60 to 80 million dollars into a Gotham by Gaslight animated film, right? That looks like Mignola's art with the blacks and shadows, you know, and all that stuff. Like, but they won't. We're just getting cheaper and cheaper shit. So, it's a shame, but you know, quite the bummer. Stroke 24 inside. Oh, come on. Seriously? Somebody says DC animated compared to Marvel animation right now. They're leagues ahead of the curve stuff. Marvel's kicking their ass, dude. You know, I'm sorry, I don't like Cape Crusader. I think the opening credits have an interesting visual style. I would have liked to see a visual style that looked closer to that. But I don't care for any of the designs in Cape Crusader. I don't care for any of the color palettes. You're not topping those 90s design, either the Batman animated series or the New Adventures. You should stick with that. It already looked like it took place in the 30s, just with, you know, the comic book element. I just don't like the look of it, you know, at all. I know I'm probably in the minority, but I'm just got to keep it real. But you compare X-Men 97 to that, I mean, even What If, I don't know. You feel Watchmen looks better? No. The combination of CGI and 2D effects animation and the blocking and all that stuff on What If's way better. My only complaint about What If is I don't like the lips. The lips are kind of vectory to me. I would change the lips. Look, I would push What If design style wise. I'd push it more into what Marvel Rivals looks like. If it were up to me, if I was art director, I'd go on and go, make it look more like Marvel Rivals. You know. I think Marvel Rivals looks amazing to me. No. I think Hotel Has Been looks better than Cape Crusader. And I'm not bagging on Hotel Has Been. I think that's a good looking cartoon. But it is a budget cartoon, you know. I don't think any of them hold a candle to Arcane, you know. Well, Rob, they spent 500 million on Arcane. Then spend 500 million. If it's gonna get the views, spend the money. Because my God, I love to see Sylvain Chalamet, the Belleville guy, the guy who's doing the animated sequel of the Joker. I've always wanted to see that guy do a Gotham City thing, you know, because of the way they did Edinburgh in The Illusionist. See, you gotta draw in the effects on Spawn. You gotta draw in the effects when you're doing Spawn. Otherwise, it don't look like Spawn. I would rather paint them, but once I comp it all together, I'm like, now it's looking like Spawn. Yeah, Has Been looks fantastic, dude. I got no gripes on that. I wish Mignola would stop making live action Hellboy movies and just make an animated film, or, you know, I've been saying this for years, animated or stop motion in his style. Like, the dude has spent a lifetime working on minimalist art and shape design and keeps putting his fucking comic book into live action. You figure that one out. Like maybe we could get the art style, you know? Or let Gendy Tartakovsky make a Batman. You know, Primal, man. Primal. Put the Primal team on it. I'd watch that. I bet you he could do a Superman series that would look amazing with no words. Hell of a Boss, same thing. It's the same people. Hell of a Boss has been. It's the same crew. I'm just saying it. They look great. I watched both. You know, it's like Unkama, dude. I love Julith, dude, and Dofus. Really, it's the Treasures of Caribbean and Julith, the movie Julith. You know that, man. If I was a billionaire philanthropist, I would just give them money to keep making those movies. That's what I would do, you know. Make another that Julith movie is fucking so good. I mean, really, it's the Treasures of Caribbean, and Julith is like the movie epilogue to that series, you know. The series is great too. I love it. I've watched it dozens of times. Right now, I'm doing a rewatch of the 2017 DuckTales, you know, which is fantastic. Fantastic. And did you ever play that Battletoads 2D game that came out a few years ago? I know people shit on the art style, but in motion, it looked really good, and the writing was excellent. That's a genuinely funny game. Um, I would have gladly accepted a Battletoads tune in that style if it had the same writing. They also did that 2D Mickey Mouse game. Ye- the 4-player one? Wasn't a fan of that. They're too zoomed out. That's the one you're talking about. I need it more zoomed in. You know what else I'd love? I'd love a 2D hand-drawn uh Turtles brawling game that based off the Mirage comics. Just call it TMNT Mirage. You know, we've gotten enough of all the fun rainbow cartoon turtles. For once, I just love one that actually look like the original comics. Rainbow cartoon turtles. I know. Look, but I like them. They're fun. I didn't like the cartoon. I love the intro to the cartoon. The one that uh Aeon Flux. I'm brain farting. I want to say Peter Chan, but I may be wrong. Sometimes I get his name confused with the guy who did all the layouts on the LucasArts games. Grim Fandango, and I get their names confused, but I never liked the cartoon. I like those designs in a video game, like the arcade game. Yeah, I love it. Shredder's Revenge, love it. As a video game, those designs are great. But I would like a hand-drawn Turtles game that actually looked like the original comics. And you could have a full color mode and a black and white with red bandanas mode. You know? Sell like 8 copies, but one can dream. All right, folks, we're at the 2.5 hour mark here. It's pushing 1 a.m. my time. And video's already looped. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day here. And I will be returning to drawing during the day in a day or two. I gotta get caught back up on some stuff. This page from hell. When you guys see this page, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's nuts. It's nuts. You know. Here's the problem, folks. When people give me like scenes where characters charge at you or they battle, I kind of feel like it's gotta look amazing. I don't feel like I could just draw it. You know. It's the problem is I grew up in the 90s, and so like I expect it to be at that level, and doing it all myself is hard. It's hard. You know, spikes and capes, and then they're leaping, and then there's more spikes. Plus, Spawn, you know, I don't know if Spawn was meant to be a team, but now we got a team of spawns. And sometimes I got like 5 spawns on a page, and I'm like, which way are the chains going? Which way are the spikes going? Who's blasting stuff? And if you want to add explosions and rain, then you know, that's coming out of my time. You know, like, yeah. So I have still been able to work in Easter eggs on battle scenes because if they take place in a city, there's always room for advertisements, right? So there's always a way you can like use billboards or signage. We'll definitely have to cover that whenever the pages are out in the real world. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah. So all right, folks, I'm gonna call it quits here. I'll be back again soon. I don't like to say every day, but someday. No. We'll be back soon. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow on the NDA podcast. If you'd like to support me directly, you can go to shopsketchcraft.com, buy a print. They're expensive, but they come perfectly wrapped. I will have some remarks up soon. I gotta get through this commission, and then on weekends I'm gonna be doing remarks live. So whatever comp copies I have, I'm gonna just draw on them, and we'll be putting the remarks in the store. So definitely bookmark that or add yourself to the newsletter, which I've yet to still send out. But once I got remarks and original art going in that store, the prints are going to slowly be phased out, folks. I'm going to be removing prints and making that mostly a spot for physical art, you know, rather than the prints and stuff, and books and things. So it's we're getting and where to pre-order commission when those slots are available. So definitely check that out. If you'd like to tip me, go to tipsketchcraft.com. And as always, folks, Spawn Kills Every Spawn issue 2 is out next week in your comic shops. Go check that out. Buy a copy. and let me know what you thought.